Hey, so I just talked in my other video about multiplying by powers of 10. This video is about dividing by powers of 10. For example, you are already familiar with problems like this. 5,000 divided by 10, and then you say how many tens is that? That's 500 tens. Or another one that you may have done before is 5,000 divided by 100. How many hundreds is that? 50. Or 5,000 divided by how many thousands is that? So, how many thousands are inside of that? 5. So you see a pattern here. Usually people talk about, well, you take away that number of zeros, like there's 3 zeros here, you take away 1, now there are 2. There's 3 zeros here, take away 2, now there's 1. 3 zeros here, take away 3, now there are none. And that is what people learn in, it's about 4th grade. All right. I haven't learned how to divide fractions yet. You might want to stop watching this video because I'm about to divide a bunch of fractions. So I'm taking the number 5,000, and instead of writing it 0.1 as a decimal, I'm going to change it to the fraction version, which is 1/10. When I do 5,000 divided by 1/10, that's saying how many teeny tiny little dimes are in $5,000. I just changed this a tiny bit so you can think about it. But 1/10 is a dime. So it's 10 cents. So I could do it this way. I can say how many dimes are in $5,000, or I can do it like this and say 5,000 and then do the thing where I flip the reciprocal of the second number when I'm dividing fractions. So I have 5,000 over 1 times the reciprocal. So I flip the second numbers, 10 over 1, that's called the reciprocal. So 5,000 times 10 is 50,000. And 1 times 1 is 1. 50,000 over 1 is the same thing as 50,000. Or if I think about the dimes, I say there's 10 dimes per dollar. So I could do $5,000 times 10 is 50,000 dimes. Same thing. 5,000 divided by 100. If I rewrite it as a fraction, I would write 1 over 100. Or I can think about money. So $5,000 divided by the number of pennies. Divided by a penny. So how many pennies are in $5,000? That's the question. How many pennies are in $5,000? Well, for every $1, there are 100 pennies. So I think it's going to be 500,000. Let's find out using the fraction way. 5,000 divided by 1 over 100. So I do 5,000 over 1. 5,000 over 1 times, and now I'm going to flip this number, the second number, I do the reciprocal, so I change it to 100 over 1. 5,000 times 100 is 500,000. 1 over 1 is just 1. It's just 1 times 1. So that part doesn't matter. It's just over 1. It means that's a whole number. So I get 500,000. Whether I think about how many pennies are in $5,000 or whether I think about the fraction way. Are you starting to notice a pattern? Are you starting to notice any patterns? To notice any patterns? For decimals? A pattern for decimals. Try to find it. Write in the comments.